Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more New Cycle, the diesel punk city builder that we played a couple of months ago on the channel. Spent a fair bit of time in this game, had a lot of fun. Well, we are back today because the first major update has been released, the first of many, I hope. It is called Promising Prospects, and it introduces a fair bit of new content into the game, including new buildings, a new map, and some changes to your society, which could have some major implications. We'll get to that in just a minute. First, I want to say a big thank you to Daedalic Entertainment for sponsoring today's video, always very much appreciated. And I also want to make sure you guys know that the game is currently 20% off on Steam. So if you've been kind of on the fence about this game, you watch this video, you decide, you know what, maybe I want to give this a shot, now is quite literally the best time to do so. So you can find a link in the description down below. Now, let's go ahead and start up a new game. Now, I'm not going to be playing with the campaign today, we've already seen the story, though I believe some features of the campaign have been reworked and rebalanced a little bit, including the bunker, but you've already seen this. Let's instead go into a sandbox mode because I want to show off the new content as much as possible. Now, there is a fun little timeline feature right here. We can either start with absolutely nothing at the beginning of the game in Cycle 1, or we can get a more advanced start with Cycle 5 research already done. We don't start with any early game production already built, though. We still are starting from scratch. We just have access to more technology a bit faster. This actually is challenging in and of its own right because your people are going to have very high demands right off the bat, so surviving the first few days is kind of important, but we'll give this one a go. I think that turbocharges the run a little bit. Also, you can see the new map available right here. It is called the Great Meadow. Now, at first glance, it looks like easy mode, right? Because there is a fair bit of water around, lots of fertile soil, regular season changes. Seems great until you read that this is also 3 times larger than any standard biome. It is designed to support a massive city, which is why you have access to all these extra resources at the beginning of the game. So, yeah, overall, in the long run, this kind of balances out. Though in the beginning of the game, it might be a little bit easier. That said, it's a new map, sounds like fun, let's give it a go. Now, there is a little bit of introductory story here, which basically is explaining why, we built up a society, we got all this research, and then we were doomed once again as metal starts raining from the sky, and that's why we are going to start with absolutely nothing. But this is our map. It looks kind of nice. It is definitely a big one, though. I can't even see the edges over here. We even have a mini-map over here in the left. Well, that's kind of nice. Let's take a quick look and see what we have as far as some water and stuff. Okay, a fair bit over here. What about our wind? Yeah, a fair bit to go around over here, mining, some mountains and stuff this direction, fertility a lot over here. And then as far as oil, I see 2 sources off in the distance. Okay, so that gives me a rough idea where I might want to start. How about right along over here? This seems like a good spot. Now, as I said, we do have to build up everything from scratch. So we start with absolutely nothing. But I already have a population of 120, including 30 craftsmen? I don't need this many, nearly this many at the beginning of the game, so these guys are actually going to be a major drain on resources. Well, that's gonna suck. Okay, first things first then, let's go ahead and gather up some food, some water, and also we need to make sure we get ourselves some stone, iron, and logs. And we're gonna need a lot of resources at the very beginning because we already have so much technology for all these tier 2 structures, but I'm not gonna have any of the production to support it with the advanced resources. I don't think we start with like any bricks or anything, do we? Oh, I take it back, actually we do. We do start with some bricks and stuff, plus some wire. Okay, maybe we actually can start with some extra stuff right off the bat. My play testing, I didn't even check that. We should definitely start by picking up things like, some smelters and stuff, some more advanced kitchens, better residences. What is this? Cobblestone roads? Well, that's new. I also need to make sure we get some food here. Meat and herbs are actually more important in the game now than they used to be. You do need to gather these up right away. I'll explain a bit more about why in a bit, though. All right, men, scatter, go forth, build all of these structures. Make sure we assign some people to gather up the lumber over this way. Some meat, some herbs. Bit of stone, bit of iron, and then, of course, more mushrooms. And I don't think we need more herbs yet, but we may come back to that. Okay, so that's all solid. Then, of course, the next thing to worry about is going to be water. With this large of a population, we're going to need this very badly. One thing I learned, by the way, reading through the Steam forums, it looks like it's actually not a very good idea to build your wells next to as many nodes as possible, like this one, because I believe that a well can only work one node at a time, and they refresh at the beginning of every year, right? So if you place a well here, you actually are only getting 1/3 of the potential water, and then by the time that you get to the next year, hopefully they've all refreshed, and you've just kind of wasted these other 2 nodes. If that person is correct, and I don't promise that they are, it actually makes a lot more sense then to just go ahead and build like 1 node at a time. I dearly hope they're correct, because I'm banking literally everything on this. And then, of course, I want to make sure I get myself some kitchens up and running. Yes, by the way, I'm building pretty much everything in a grid right now. Sue me, it's going to be the fastest way to get things going. I do like being able to have all my nice curvy roads, though. That is always great. Oh, and let's make sure we immediately get ourselves a stockpile as well, because I'm pretty sure we're not going to actually gain any more resources from all these structures until we have a place to put things. So this is kind of one of the most important things we could possibly build. Yeah, case in point, I'm literally producing nothing right now. Absolutely nothing. And now that this is up and running, here comes the water and stuff. Good. I also know that I need to get myself some housing kind of as quick as I can. Plus, we need to get some lumber mills. Now, the good news is I don't need to worry about paper right off the bat, because if you take a look at our developments, you can see we are researched all the way up to midway through Cycle 5, missing a few things I want, like the coal generators, metalworks, pubs, and so on. All this is going to be very important, but at least we've got a fair bit already under our belt. So paper feels like a pretty low priority right now. And it looks like we're getting ourselves on a pretty good footing here. Some of the test games I've done, we've already started running into massive unrest, and I'm out of water and food and stuff. But it looks like right now we're off to a halfway decent start. People seem rather content. We don't have a lot of extra resources to go around and distribute yet, but this is a good start. Let's see, I'm going to run out of things like clothes and stuff kind of quickly. A new building that was added is called the Small Work Hall, and this is going to make a couple of things, including herbal tea, which is another use for your herbs. Also, tanned leather, which is necessary at the tailor if you want to make any clothing at all. So you have to get this building. I don't think this used to be a thing, this whole tanned leather stuff, but it should be a fun new challenge. Let's see, tanned leather, get 4 people working on that. Yeah, you can see it takes logs and herbs as well as rawhide to make this. This is one of the reasons herbs are so important. You could make tea, which is nice, and I think it just makes people happy. But what matters for now absolutely is going to be things with the tanned leather, so that I will be able to get myself a tailor and start producing. I'm also already out of power. Where's the nearest source of power? There's a lot of it to be found over there. But I guess this will have to do. Actually, these are all kind of spread out in weird ways. Bah, I'm sure it's fine. Just go ahead and build a bunch of windmills. I don't care if they're ugly. There we go. We've got power and stuff. Let's go ahead and start producing some clothing. If I can make enough of this, we'll gladly start distributing it. I don't think there's anything more I can do to boost up my work hall here until it gets upgraded. This is going to have to be good enough. I know I need to get myself at least a couple of kilns. I just don't want to take up all my farming lands, but I think we can build at least a couple over here. So let's go ahead and do that. I still would love in the future for the devs to include like a little point or something on here to indicate where eventually the conveyor belts will hook up, so it's a little bit easier for me to make sure I upgrade these in an intelligent way. So I'll keep these somewhat spaced apart for now, just to be safe. Okay, we have survived our first year. Resources are about to be replenished. That means that all of the wells are back up and running, and someone has already died. Okay, well that's going to be a thing. Old age, though. That's fine. So here's a change in this update. Your people don't simply just die at their ripe old adult years. They are going to age to the point where they become seniors, and when they become seniors, they're going to need to be taken care of. Otherwise, the morale of your entire city will start to go down. It's not something I have to worry about this exact second, but at some point, it's going to be an issue. And actually, what are some of these other changes over here? You know, I don't think they actually used to have these icons off in the distance when you're looking for resources and stuff. This is actually a really nice change. Because it used to be, if I wanted to place down, let's say, a gathering camp and stuff, I'd have to scroll around on the map looking for another source and stuff. But now, I see everything right off the bat. This is a good quality of life change. I like it. Yes, by the way, I know that we have failed an objective down over here. If we pretend that we didn't, maybe it will go away. Oh my gosh, people need a cemetery. Fine, fine. Bring out your dead. We've got a lot of herbs, by the way. like it wouldn't be a bad plan to go ahead and get myself another one of these small work halls. And we'll go ahead and start producing some of that delicious herbal tea that I hear so much about. Why do I want that? Because this stuff can get served at a tavern, and this functions as a way of trying to make people a bit happier. Also, boosts up health a little bit, reduce possibility of seasonal illness, increase recovery rate for non-fatal diseases. Yeah, herbal tea is great. Okay, that's amazing. And then immediately people start dying of illness. All right, toxic herbs. Sorry, we should make sure we use the right ones. Good lord, all of my craftsmen, I mean like literally all of them are dying of illness. Whoa! What is happening? Holy cram! Okay. I mean, I'm not actually upset about it because I really don't need this many craftsmen, so them dying just reduces the strain on my resources, but like, what the crud was in that tea? Well, let's go ahead and start doing some research again. I need the committed workforce, get the pub, get some better meals. Hopefully that boosts up our health and morale a bit. Might also be wise to get myself some mines up and a-running. Yup, we need to find things like copper. Oh, frickin' lightning! Right, I forgot about that. And someone died. Ugh, God. I want to make some better meals. I need to get vegetables and or grain and stuff. Right, okay, that means it is farming time. Kale yards and stuff. These should be kind of okay. Not great, though. You really want to have like 3 or 4 nodes if you can all together. Biggest problem with the farms, of course, is they're about to be a huge drag on my water production. Oh boy. Yep, I'm starting to remember immediately why this game is a challenging balancing act. Can be done, just got a lot I need to set up. And in comes a sandstorm to make everything slower. And I heard something go boom. What was that? Honestly, I'm not sure I want to know. Okay, pressurized systems. I need some bronze and stuff. Ugh, I don't have that. Metalworking techniques would be smart. Get some upgrades that away. We are going to want the power, enhanced training. Yeah, I have to go. Well, I actually wouldn't mind getting the cobblestone roads. I'd be very curious how much this boosts everything up. You know what? Let's give it a go. There's the upgrades for the roads. Okay, so I imagine... Oh, it takes bricks and iron? Ugh. I imagine, though, if I drag and place this in areas like this... How does this boost up our efficiency, actually, now that I think about it? Because we don't really need to worry much about whether our people can travel. Resources sort of teleport in this game. So walk speed isn't very important. So why do we want this? Less affected by environmental conditions. I'll be honest, I don't really know what that means. Sounds good, though. If you look a little bit ahead in the tech, though, what are some of the new things that have been introduced into the game? Well, let's see. We've got upgrades for housing, so we actually can go above residence level 2. Now there is a level 3 available. There should be an upgrade for another kitchen level in here somewhere, the community kitchen. Not that one. There's another one here somewhere. That could be pretty good for us with a whole new form of food. There should be an upgrade for some warehousing in here as well, which I think we might be able to see if I go to level... No, I can't see it from level 3 yet. Yeah, we've already got things like the storehouse. There's another version here that's going to increase your electricity consumption, but stores a ridiculous amount of stuff. Not to mention, we've got those work halls we already saw and the cobblestone roads and so on. So all of that is a thing. The minimap down here is obviously new. Also, if you guys like rearranging your UIs, no problem. You can do things like that now. Really need to get these healthcare systems up and running, though. This is not optional. I need to be able to start getting some medical centers because our people really need health. If we can start getting our health up, I feel like we'll be in a good spot for our life. That's the biggest thing that's killing me is the lack of medication and health services. Do this, get everyone up into a regular health cycle, less likely that they're going to die and stuff, their morale will go up, everything gets better. And what are these things over here? I've never seen ruins before. Ruins that I can salvage. Okay. Rough materials may be salvaged here. We can get stone, copper, wire, sand, and so on. Is there any reason... Oh, okay, it takes a lot of workers. I was going to say, is there any reason not to do this? So this is a source of like 348 more wire and stuff. Okay. Restore ruins, but these are damaged beyond restoration. Huh. Okay. Do I need certain technologies in order to do this, or what? Because if I don't have to tear it apart, then I won't. Also, it is time for us to go ahead and get some scouts and start exploring the map. We need to look for more resources. Okay, we just got the event where a bunch of immigrants came in, as long as you could provide some basic resources, which we did. So this is a huge influx of personnel. By the end of year 5, I think things are looking actually pretty good. This advanced start has proven to be quite nice. I do like having access to all this tech and not having to worry as much about paper. We just get to start building, and that's the fun part. Okay, one really important thing we are now able to do, go to the world map where I have been exploring, and if we want to start setting up some basic structures for extra resources, this is how we're going to do it. I don't know if we want to invest in a mine. We could do that. I mean, a bit of extra coal production wouldn't be bad. A lot of water makes sense, though. 38 more water production, sure. We could also build some roads and really ramp things up here. Yeah, once you start extracting a lot of stuff from the world map, that can be a pretty big game changer. Costs a lot of stone and stuff to get those roads up and a-running, but it really is worth it. Not to mention we can build these watchtowers in a few places too, which actually boosts up my immigration just a bit, so this is a way of getting more people consistently coming into your town. By the way, we already have some food and water on the way. Nice. Might make sense to go ahead and get some arboriculture up and running. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. We like this. This is very helpful. Not to mention the filling meal, a new way of getting some food, or at least a new recipe. No idea what this is, but it is new. Let's start some research. We're doing really well on food, by the way. I'm producing plenty of the stuff, so I'm able to have people on really good meals, which is getting me a lot of morale. I mean, technically speaking, maybe I can even boost this up higher, but I'm kind of happy with where I am right now. This is a very sustainable situation I'm in. Health is going to be high, morale is going to be high. If I could just get this into the... Yep, there we go. We're actually right at the threshold. 91 morale. Now we're in great morale territory, 110% efficiency. Oh, baby, this is working out beautifully. Would it be worth trying to get a barn now as well? This only cost me a few tools. Like, this is a very cheap technology. I don't remember it being this cheap. Huh. Well, between apples and also milk, what this should do if we go to places like my infirmary, we can see that this would be effectively like cheap medicine, just making everyone happy. Plus, extra dairy also should boost some happiness in general, too. So we would get liquid supplements, that's 5 extra health for all classes, and then this would do the same thing. Is there a stacking effect, or is that a thing? I don't know, actually. So let's suppose I wanted to work with some of these new meals. What is involved in a filling meal? Meat, mushrooms, vegetable, and dairy. Actually, this works. I'm really good at producing meat and mushrooms and some vegetables, or at least I can invest more in that, and now that I'm going to have dairy available, this is a completely reasonable thing for us to do. Yeah, I actually think we should probably do that. I have to get dairy up and running first. This barn isn't really doing anything at the moment, but it doesn't take a lot of people in order to produce 42 per day. Oh, frickin' lightning! I watched that happen. I hate when this happens. We need to develop lightning rods in this game. Okay, that's what we need. I've decided it. Devs, please develop lightning rods. Oh god, and here we go. Strange lights above. It's just like the stories of the first day. The night is losing its darkness. Yeah, hopefully it's nothing to worry about. You know, it's just the sun freaking out. Yeah, there's the flare. Oh, yeah, that's not scary at all. All of this leading to what would be, you know, the campaign of, hey, it turns out that everything that destroyed Earth the first time, it's coming back. So, we need to hide underground for, like, the next few hundred years. Honestly, I didn't expect any of that stuff to happen during sandbox mode. Silly me. And of course, everyone's freaking out. It's a 2-year task to find out what exactly the solar flare is going to do to us. Absolutely nothing. I recommend that we all just collectively bury our heads in the sand and pretend everything's fine, because it probably will be. Hey, let's go ahead and move on to these filling meals. Haven't you heard about these? These are amazing. Oh yeah, who's worried about the lights in the sky when I got really good food in my belly? There we go, now we're producing a whole bunch of these meals. I'm waiting to find out exactly how much we produce per day, because this is gonna have some implications. As for whether or not I can feed my people with this, 152 per day so far, okay. How much would this affect my morale? Answer, a lot. This would affect my morale quite a bit. It's not quite working as well as I wanted it to. For some reason, we're not producing enough. I feel like we should be producing almost the exact same amount. So why is this going down? Weird. Well, if I can't maintain this enough, then we're gonna have to go back to the regular meals for now, at least until I can figure out what the heck is going on. Why couldn't I produce enough of this? I have enough resources, I thought, for sure. Yeah, we're producing 76 of these per day. Whereas if I was going to these, how much was I producing? Much less than that. This is clearly slower. It takes 5.7 hours to make these, as opposed to this, which takes 2.9 hours. Huh. So if I want to do that, we could. I'm just going to need more kitchens and more laborers. How are we doing on resources in general right now? Actually pretty good. We have a lot of herbal tea, and that's starting to run low. We're doing pretty good on tools, tin ore. Clothing is the only thing that I've been struggling with now, and I've actually just built up another small work hall for more tanned leather, plus another tailor. So that's about to set itself, in which case, I actually think we're looking good across the board. Which means now would be the time to go ahead and start developing new things like, I don't know, giant apartment complexes? There we go, apartment complexes. All right, well, how expensive are they? The answer is they're pretty expensive. They require steel. Dang it. So far, I've actually managed to avoid going down steel, but no longer. I think it's time we go ahead and start investing in the next round of tech. Is it worth upgrading our mines? The answer is yes, it is 100% worth upgrading our mines, even though one of them is on fire. Because as soon as I am done researching the conveyor belt system, we're going to be able to dramatically improve the productivity of these mines and get lots of raw resources. Oh, for frick's sake, even more lights. Yes, yes, you scared me the first time, Mr. Sun. What are you doing to me? Knock it off. And we've actually advanced to another cycle already. We are up to cycle 7. Which unlocks train stations, as well as a lot of really good industrial stuff. A new building, the Tubule Cavern, which I believe grows, what, mushrooms? It's like a cave of mushrooms? Something like that. There's the community kitchen. That is a new building as well. Okay, we're actually starting to see some new stuff here. In the meantime, I don't really even feel like we need to do conveyor belts over here. I mean, do I need extra production for my mining facilities? No, but it would be kind of nice. Like, do I ever want to take the risk that we run out of coal under any circumstances? I think not. Let's just go ahead and upgrade the shaft. Why not? Upgrade to the next tier. Boom. Thank you. Now we get some conveyor belts, and I should be able to pick one up from over... I need more steel. Well, we can pick one up from over here somewhere. Just kind of mosey it along over this away, then line her up. And that does the job. All right, all the coal is now being tossed in, boosting up my efficiency by 45%. I honestly did feel bad about that in my series of the game when I did not realize you could do that, because, I mean, who checks to upgrade their shaft, am I right? And, yeah, it turned out, you know, that was a thing I could have done, and I kept railing on, oh, conveyor belts, why are we even getting them at this stage of the game? They're totally useless. No, they're not useless. You're just a big dum-dum, Pravus. That's how it works. But, hey, we figured it out now. It's fine. I really would like to know exactly what cobblestone roads do for me, by the way. What if I, like, built a bunch over here? I know this takes, like, a lot of stone, lumber, wire, blah, blah, blah. Let's get this built up. I thought I saw something about it boosting efficiency, but I don't know that that is correct. I'd like it to be correct. It'd be really cool if it were. Honestly, that would be the most sensible way to do things, right? Because travel time doesn't necessarily matter, but if you were to attach to a cobblestone road, it could safely be assumed that you're able to transport goods a little bit better. At the same time, I think my next assumption would be, how do I game the system by, like, placing my buildings and doing just like a little spattering of cobblestone just to trigger the effect and save on the resources and do dirt in like 90% of places. I don't know, maybe the developers have thought of that one already. Regardless, though, they certainly do look a little bit more sophisticated now, don't they? Oh, frickin' lightning, I hate you so much. Now, we were going to start upgrading some of these apartments, right? I want to see what they look like. Should have enough steel to go around now. Actually, quite a lot of steel. Perfect. Go for it. So what's the difference then between a regular residence and these apartments? These can have 12 people. These can have 26? Wow. Okay. You can now build some very dense neighborhoods with these apartments. Holy crud. They do cost you in power, though. That's going to be a thing. But honestly, if it's going to save you a lot in services with like the range of the pub and the infirmary, totally worth it. So let's go ahead and research protective approach next. I want to find out just how good these community kitchens are. Let's see. It looks like they have better utensils, produced at a higher quantity in a slightly longer time. I mean, hey, as long as the value goes up, right? I mean, sure, it's... Actually, I don't know. How does that work out exactly? I need to find this out, right? More quantity, more time. Does it still end up being about 76 of these meals per day? Like, what would it take to get one of these upgraded again? Machinery? Oh, no. And cement? Ugh. Okay, cement's fine, but machinery? Ugh. I do not like making machinery. One, it's locked, so I can't do anything with it even if I wanted to. But two, it's really freaking expensive, man. We've also officially hit over 350 population. Nice. We are now an extremely powerful society. I agree. Oy vey. What about at least the tubular cavern? I want to find out exactly how good these are. You know, anything new is just calling my name. I want to find out what I can do with it. Gosh dang it, fires now, and we have reached a new cycle. The age of cold steel. Industrial forges, mine level 3 factories metal processing complex. We're actually advancing in the cycles way faster than I'm able to keep up with from a research perspective. That's a good sign, but this is officially the final age of the game. So there we go. We're in the end game, boys. There's tubular caverns. Of course they take cement to build. Ugh. Let's go ahead and find out how good these caverns really are. I'm just curious, all right? I don't even know exactly why I want them, except that it sounds cool. We're just gonna grow mushrooms deep underground. I mean, we had access to, what was it, the greenhouse and stuff before, but I remember those being a little bit lackluster, right? They produced some raw food, but it was okay. It didn't really cost you much in terms of like labor and stuff, just electricity, but it wasn't super duper worth it. But the tubules giving me more consistent mushrooms, now that has use. So, mushrooms, go ahead and send a couple of workers. It takes sand and clay and water in order to make mushrooms. Not to mention we have to have a craftsman. 107 per day for 850 power, plus a bunch of resources. I don't know. I mean, on a map this big, I feel like this is unnecessary because there should be plenty of sources of mushrooms regenerating every year, so I'm never really hurting for mushrooms. But in a pinch, especially on smaller maps, I could see this being useful. I think I might also be out of iron on this map. Ooh. That is a small problem. We've only got this left, which I can, by the way, upgrade this to a slightly better camp, and I guess I will, but yeah. Okay, that means I have to rely on more stuff in the world map over here, which means it is time to start researching diesel engines, which means I need to produce some fuel, get the railroads up and running. Yeah, I forgot, honestly, how well-balanced a lot of the pacing is on the game here. As I start trying to build up my economy, I always run into a roadblock, and it turns out there are ways to solve it, but it requires even more investment, and so on and so forth, until you end up having a thriving, massive economy. Overall, though, with the exception of the impending iron doom, I guess we could find a mine for that. That would be fine, too. But aside from that, I'd say we've done pretty well for ourselves. We're like, what, 10, 12 years or so into the game? And we've got most production chains up and running without too much issue. We're enjoying some of the new benefits of the game, like the new kinds of food and stuff. We're growing new mushrooms, we got new apartment complexes, plus there are the things that we would be able to do with things like herbal tea, upgrades for kitchens, and so on. Like, it's not that there's not plenty more to do, it's just I know that it's going to take a very, 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 very long time to get all of that set up, but we're well on our way. This is going to be a very, very solid city. I am excited to see new content being added in the game. I'm especially excited to see some balancing getting reworked in the game. This actually feels a bit better than the last time I played it, which is great. Might have something to do with the fact that I'm actually letting people, you know, be efficient and not overworking them to death. That might have something to do with it. But besides that, it actually does feel a little bit smoother. It feels like the production chains are a little bit more responsive, and I'm not having to overinvest in one or two resources. It feels more intuitive. So this is in a pretty good spot, and I like the new content. Big thank you again to Daedalic Entertainment for sponsoring today's video and letting me see all of this. I'm excited for New Cycle and where things are going to continue to develop over the next few months or even a couple of years. And I hope you guys are too. Of course, don't forget that there is a link in the description down below, and the game is 20% off on Steam at the time that I'm recording this. So if you guys want to pick it up, now's a good time. It is on sale. We all like a good sale. Otherwise, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell. And I will see you guys next time.